everybody, welcome back to another Train Sim World 4 video, and we're back on another German route. Today we're going to be doing the Kassel Wurzburg route. I wouldn't say we're going to be doing it, I would say LZB's going to be doing it. We don't really do anything really, we just sit back and relax. But we're in the ice one, with the little green stripe at the front. So yeah, we're at Fulda, we're going to head up to Kassel. So we'll get the train all set up, if I can remember how to, as it's been an awfully long time since I've driven the ICU one. So LZB, that's literally the most important thing on here. PZB not really that important on here. SIFA, yeah, put that on. AFB, we want that on. There we go. Anything else we need to press? I feel like there's like passenger lights or something we need to put on. Maybe not. Maybe that's probably, it might be on here. Parking brake. Maybe not. Okay, well let's unlock the doors. So we'll put a key in. Yeah, it basically starts in LZB. And flips on. Brake key, we'll do that. That can be set, well, to max because it's AFB. Well, it's LZB. Which does make it quite a interesting route, this one. Make sure the audio is fine. You've also got the power car here, and then we can run right the way through. And straight into the little passenger area. Which is rather cool. It's a noisy old train. Really hear it working away, can't you? Sit back down. Oh, we're good. I thought it was applying power for some reason, but no. We're all good. Kilonewtons are at 0. So wait for the time to close the doors, which is basically now. I'm just gonna make sure there's no other thing we need to do. Passenger lights, they should already be on, I believe. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. As in the IC3, you've got to press like buttons to turn it on. But I think they are already on this train. They should be, yeah, they're fine. Cool, right. 86 kilometers, which is what, 50 miles? So this is really easy. Do that. Put that, maybe not to max to begin with, because you don't want a wheel slip. Takes a little while to get going, if we've set it up correctly, that is. There we are, 14 coaches long. Well, there's two power cars, and then the two. It is a beast. So put that to max, and now we do nothing. We do nothing now until Kassel. Well, really, we don't really need to do anything there either. We just let it drive itself, and we do the SIFA. There we go. I might as well head off, go and have a cup of tea, turn off the SIFA, or maybe just take the keyboard with me and just spam Q as I go. Let you enjoy the scenery. It's a cool route. It's a cool route, this one. Not one you can play like every single day. You get really bored, but sort of every now and again, playing it is good fun. I mean, this route really was like extreme when it first came to Train Sim World. Then we had Southeastern High Speed for Train Sim World 3, so we had the bit to Ashford, and then we got this, and then the US route wasn't quite high speed. That was Cajon Pass. Up to 210 kilometers an hour. I think we may also be able to 220. I believe we may also be able to go up to 280 kilometers an hour. As well, like the really heavy IC1. I think we can go up to 270. I think it's the IC3 which is restricted at 250. It's just like a light train, so with wind against it on the bridges. Something along those lines. Cool. So we're only down the top half of the route. And if you go south, it takes you to Wurzburg. And that's actually where you've got to do something. You get the really sort of almost stressful turning off the LZB when you're sort of in the tunnel in the pitch black coming into Wurzburg. You've got to turn off the LZB, which on this train is slightly more complicated than on the ICE3. Well, when you're playing Huddlers. Train should be speeding up nicely. This is also quite a good route to see the eye adaptation, which nowadays is like, oh, cool. So when you come out the tunnel, you get that blare or sort of flare of light. Sort of was, you know, ideal for this route. Lots of tunnels, lots of big bridges. It's not really sort of just a flat route across, you know, open fields. Very impressive how they managed to build this in real life and in the game. But yeah, lots of this, lots of long tunnels and long bridges. Like really impressive bridges. So how did they do it? .175. So we're going over 100 miles per hour now. So yeah, you sort of go into that tunnel going at what 70, and we'll be coming out, shooting out at probably 200 kilometers an hour. I love that when that happens in real life. You sort of you leave a station, you go into a tunnel, you're going, you know, probably what 20 miles an hour. You come out and you're going like 70 or so. This tunnel goes on for a really long way. It is quite well hilly, this route as well. Going 190 kilometers an hour now, and the speed at this point is 250 kilometers an hour. The acceleration is a bit slower in the IC1, as well as an older train, and 2, it's long. Hey, the light at the end of the tunnel. Sort of flash of light. There we go. Lovely. 200 kilometers an hour at the moment. So it's sort of, you know, it's getting there. It's having a think. Cancelled the SIFA before it started doing its thing. So yeah, we just basically just get to chill out now. Really much we have to do. And yeah, there's only 3 stations on this route: Wurzburg, Fulda and Kassel. So we don't have to worry about stopping. And I think some services, possibly, have I done one? I think there's a couple of services which you don't even stop at Fulda. It's literally just Kassel to Wurzburg. So a whole hour just non-stop at like 250 kilometers an hour. I think there's a couple of services which skip out Fulda, on the more long distance ones. It's probably one of the first impressive bridges. Look at this. I mean, in game it actually looks good as well. Don't crash, I'm going to go into photo mode. Ooh. Risky. It might have been, oh no, I'll crash there. Let's get a little shot from this side. Not really a lot I can do with this one. Still quite enough lesson. How after today? Yeah, 250 kilometers an hour now. So that is 100 and. What's that? 155 miles per hour, I think. At the same speed as Kolnarken. So when you put it in that perspective, it's like, oh, this actually isn't that quick for like a dedicated high speed line. So yeah, Colne you can go 250. I know that is a high speed line, but not in the sense of like this. You go through these big tunnels, have these massive bridges cutting through the landscape. SIFA again, goes off like every 20 seconds or so. Here's the freight loop. Another sort of cool thing about this route, you do get freight services, which can take about 2 hours to get from one end to the other. So if you've got the right state of mind, give it a go. Personally, 2 hours on this route doing a freight train, nah, no thank you. I was saying that you actually have got a freight DLC for this route. The Spollock 182. Yeah, I forgot about that one. What was it when we were doing the video on Salzburg-Rosenheim? I completely forgot about that. But yeah, you've got the Banana 182, the Spollock one. Sort of a forgotten about one. There you go, SIFA. Yeah, there's no LZB end. It just takes us into Kassel, and I think you don't actually. I think you can just let LZB bring you to a stop. But I tend to just put on the brakes a little bit myself, just so I know we're going to come to a nice stop. I don't think you need to. I just do it out of habit. Another bridge, a much lower one, but still equally impressive. The thing is, this was probably what 90s. This route, 90s, early noughties. This route got built. During that time, there were so many cool things being done. The Channel Tunnel in '94. Obviously, Germany had been reunified, so you had tons of these high-speed projects. In France, you had the high-speed rail projects as well. Generally, the 90s and noughties would have been such an exciting time for these big infrastructure projects. And nowadays, it's just like, oh, like HS2, oh. You can get the window open. Probably not the best idea to do at this speed. Yeah, it just seems like sort of such an exciting time for technology, infrastructure, and now sort of, well, not that exciting anymore. We will be able to get up to 270. I mean, so far it's just been 250. So maybe not. Maybe it's only on select services it goes up to 270. Doesn't really make much of a difference, so I mean, you just go up to 270 for like 20 seconds and you've got to slow back down again. So I'm going to turn that audio down, so it's still got a bit noisy. Tunnel, and we're a massive bridge again. I was a bit lazy now, to put a circle instead of Q. So I've got a keyboard plugged in alongside my controller, which just allows me to do a little bit more. Another freight loop there. So we should be around, what, 15 minutes away from Kassel? I mean, yeah, how much is 68 kilometres in miles? Honestly, it really is impressive. 68 kilometres in miles. 42 miles. Yeah, 42 miles in 30 minutes or so. Not even that. I mean, that is pretty cool. About 125. But then, yeah, oh, what's that? Was that another... Oh, that was an IC service. Oh, we missed that. I don't think there's many of them on this route either. Yes, that would have had, what, a 101 on the front. There's not many of them, I don't think. So we sort of missed that sort of coming out of the tunnel. Have I driven a 101 on this route? Now I want to. I don't think I have, but now I want to. So that's got LZB as well. Oh, does it work properly on there? I might have tried it before, but I don't know if LZB sort of, it didn't really work on it. Nice. 245, losing a little bit of speed, so probably going uphill at the moment. So who's got this route? Who got this route or not? Maybe you've had this route since Train Sim World 3 launched, but you just sort of never played it. Or who's tempted to go back to this route and give it a go? Generally it's quite cool, but it does get quite, you know, not that exciting after a certain amount of time. Oh, that ice one's following that 101. Like, you know, the first time you do this route, you generally are like gobsmacked. It's like, wow. Go through the massive tunnel and massive bridges. It looks good as well in the ICU1, which is just a cool train. Then after a few runs, it's like, I'm not really doing a lot, am I? I'm just pressing Q every sort of 20 seconds. I'm basically just waiting for us to get to Kassel. Not like, well, yeah, waiting for the station, coming up, looking for speed boards, looking for all the PZB stuff. We're not, we're just literally sitting here, pressing Q every 20 seconds. And that's it. That is all we're doing. Which I think we were going to Kassel at 43. Was it 43? Yeah, so yeah, 15 minutes or so. If we get there early. Lovely. Oh, yes, this is not the only route with this route in. If that makes any sense. This is not the only route with this route in. This route also features on main Spessart Barn, or at least the tiniest bit of it, and you can't drive on it. But as you're coming into Gemünden, you see the bridge going over the top. What a cool train. The menacing ICE1. What's the difference with the ICE2? The ICE2's like a 91, isn't it? Of like it's got like a DVT type thing on the back. Is that the difference with the ICE2? Like it's quite similar to the ICE1, but it has this sort of a DVT. Am I right in thinking that? Yeah, what's the difference with the ICE2? Because it's not miles different from the design of the ICE1. And I suppose the ICE3 is just a completely different thing. Then you've got the IC4, is it? Which is quite a bit different as well. I think that's also the trains which Eurostar use, but they're not called ICE4s. And you've also got the ICE3M. There's quite a lot of ICE trains. And you've got the ICT, which I think is the one which tilts. And possibly also diesel as well. There's a fair few. But obviously the main ones are 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's just weird to think these trains are, well, about 30 years old, the ICE ones. Bit of a lighting issue there in the tunnel. Nice bit of quiet. So there's not really much to talk about on here. It's not like, oh, you know, Pisa B there, let's come into the station. It's just sitting and waiting, really. But yeah, good to come on it every now and again. At some point we'll have to do the bottom half, go down to Wurzburg, which we haven't been down to in a while. Love the IC one. The thing is, the route looks good, even like from up here, like the fields and the forest look good. Now that's usually quite not a bad thing, but a thing on these routes which sort of let them down is the distant scenery. You know, when you're up high on a bridge and you look down, like on LGV Med, you sort of look down and it's like, oh, yeah, sort of the scenery doesn't look good, but on here it does. And generally it does look really good. Or looks better than other routes with sort of high bridges and yeah. Well, we might as well do Kolnarken at some point. Then we've done all of the routes the ICE is sort of native to on the game. Double tunnel there. Also mad how they would have built all of these tunnels as well. Must have taken years to, you know, build the line, and all the bridges as well. It must have been a huge project. Yeah, much bigger scale than something like HS2. Right, I don't think we're really that far off now. I don't think we're that far off. At 32, I'd still 10 minutes saying time-wise, but we might get there a bit early. You do tend to get a little bit of leeway. Get there sort of a couple of minutes early. There's a Dispolic 180. Yeah, sort of one you never really think of when it comes to the 180. The banana 180. So fairly soon we should start seeing the, well, it's still 10 kilometres, but we should start seeing the speed limit starting to drop. In which we'll see the bar coming down there. There you go. Just as I mentioned it. So I reckon, yeah, we're about 9 kilometres away now from Kassel, and we've got a 180 limit in 9 kilometres. But we haven't got a G on the LZB yet, so it's not going to start slowing us down yet. I mean, 9 kilometres would be a bit early. Well, saying that, we're already at 8 kilometres. And already at 7.5 kilometres. Doesn't take long for it to drop down. So the yellowy orange blinds as well. 90s. There is actually a couple other routes you can run this train on. You can run it on Bremen-Oldenburg and also on Linker-Rheinstrecke. There's a couple of services in the IC1. So quite cool to do, sort of getting it off here and giving it a go on there. 4 kilometres until the 180 limit. There we go, now we're slowing down. And we haven't got 0 in 6 kilometres. So it might actually bring us to a stop. Like, I usually just sort of start braking myself, just to make sure I don't pass the red light at the end of the platform. But it might, I think it is meant to just bring you down to a stop. But that's, I suppose if the signal's red. Yeah, we will be arriving there a little bit early at this rate. So again, I don't need to do anything. We're just watching at the moment, making sure the train is doing what it, what it needs to do. The thing is, would the drivers need to actually know the speed limits on here? No, well, it's 250 basically the whole entire thing. But would you sort of need to know, just in case, where the decrease in speed limit is? Because you get sort of the colour signals, don't you, still? Than you do with LZB. I think we then come out of here and then, well, we're sort of into Kassel. Because I think there's a big yard as well beforehand. So it's still slowing us down. We don't have to go to PZB. So it should bring us to a stop. Well, I never trust it fully. Well, that was Kassel-Wurzburg, or half of Kassel-Wurzburg. Literally, Fielder is literally bang on halfway, basically. $110 now, so it really is coming down. And then Kassel station, which is sort of like below a car park. Don't need to acknowledge that double yellow, at least I don't think we need to, as again we're under LZB, so we shouldn't have to. But we're going to regret that in a second. So it seems to be maybe following something. That's just gone back up to 100, so obviously there must have been something sat at Kassel. So it's just like, come on train, you could start slowing down now. There we go, that's more like it. SIFA. SIFA. Well, this is Kassel. A very proactive drive. We did a lot. Yeah, it should bring us to a stop. I'm gonna trust it this time in bringing us to a stop. Yeah, I tend to start putting on the brakes here. Like, not the dynamic, but the thingamajiggy, the actual train brake. Let's see. If we get a bit too fast near that red, I'm slamming the brakes on. SIFA. SIFA. So it's just I've said it about 4 times this video, but it is a cool route. But yeah, not one you could play constantly though. Probably get a bit bored. We're doing at 43 and it's 39. We did that. Our driving did that. There we go. We didn't do anything there. Well, I'll open the doors. That's as much as I can do. Well, that is going to be it, everybody, for today's journey here on Kassel Wurzburg. An enjoyable one. So we didn't do much, but enjoyable nonetheless. Links can be found in the usual places: Discord, PayPal, merch store. Apart from that, have a lovely rest of your day. Oh, just to mention, the DBBR 401, which is the ICU1, the green stripe is part of one of the gameplay packs, as well as the Dispollock 182. Look at that, 89 kilometres, 30 minutes exactly. Wow. But yeah, see you all and take care. Bye, guys.